Hi, and welcome to Own Your Peace. I'm so excited because I have this kind of full circle moment to share with you. I started blogging as a baby blogger back in like 2013, and my guest today was one of my very first vlogging besties. And so we have like in the last like 6 months reconnected, and our worlds kind of have intertwined in such a beautiful way. And I'm so excited to have her on the show and really for her to share her journey to where she's at now. I'd like to introduce you to Ashley Stallings. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're on the show. This is such a fun moment for me.
I know. Thank you so much for having me, Andy, and reaching out. I'm so excited to be here. And yeah, it is a full circle moment for both of us. So thank you for having me.
Ashley is launching Audibly Ashley, which is all about helping the helpers. She has served in a nonprofit agency, one that she has actually created herself and has built into such a beautiful thing. And she sees firsthand how much that giving of your heart and of yourself has burnt people out. And now she's really launching herself into this new arena where she really does want to help all those who have these big open hearts that are feeling this burnout of the work that they do. Let's start at the very beginning of your journey and what kind of brought you to this moment. I know that's a wide open question.
Like, how much time do you have?
We got time.
No, I mean, I think it's interesting. We can start at the blogging world, right? Like,
Right, absolutely. I think that's a really great place to start and fill us in. What's
yeah,
been going on in your life since 2013?
yeah, so much.
Much.
So yeah, starting in the blogging world. And what I loved about blogging for me was that
Mhm.
really covered that creative like lane for me. Like I always helping people has always been a part of my journey, a part of my heart. Sometimes I say I wish I didn't care, but I do. I've always wanted to help people. Like that's just
That's who you
how,
are. She has a South Node and Aquarius. That's very, very on brand for you.
yeah. So that's just how it's always been. But the blogging I love, and I did like a modest fashion blog back then. And so I know, I know, I know.
It's a
So
whole
much
other
changed.
conversation.
Yeah, so much has changed. But but it was just that creative, like setting up photo shoots or how am I gonna like write this post and how, that was just something I didn't really get in my like day to day of like doing case management and all those things. And
Right.
but then an opportunity came to start a nonprofit. I was approached about helping start a child advocacy center, which in really brief, I mean, it's way more complicated than this, but we work child abuse investigations local law enforcement and prosecutors. We interview the child about what happened to them it's recorded for criminal prosecution. And then we provide advocacy and support and help to the families and the kids throughout the criminal justice process. So that's what we do. And I didn't even know it was a thing. Like someone just approached me. Well, honestly, my daughter, she was going to start first grade, which is crazy because she's a sophomore in high school now. And I was like, oh, do I go back to school and get my master's? Like, I want to help people. What do I do? And I was approached by a really good friend of mine that said, hey, there's this opportunity to start this agency. Would you want to be a part of it? I think you're a great fit. My bachelor's degree, surprisingly, since I love to help people, was in psychology.
Of course. Of course.
So I was like, oh, sure, I've never heard of this. That'll be fun. And so that was 10 years ago. And so there's been a lot of ups and downs. Nonprofit world isn't for the faint of heart. I will say that. But when you truly believe in your mission, which I do, I will always have a place in my heart for these families and these kids. And I have fought for them and will continue to fight for them for years. That will always be a part of me. But, your heart kind of changes where its passion lies and all those things.
Yeah.
And I would say over the last few years, it's been more of at a macro level, right? So I've done more statewide projects. I've helped pass legislation in the state of Idaho to provide funding for the first time ever for child advocacy centers. And my excitement has kind of turned that way that still funnels down and ultimately helps the child and the family, but just in a different way. And so then Audibly Ashley, I just was speaking and consulting and training and doing a lot of that. And I thought, you know what, I have so much more to share than just like the child abuse 101 basics, which are good and needed. And
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
that. but I just have had so many experiences over the last 10 years, especially with burnout and secondary trauma and compassion fatigue, and not just my own story and my own self, but also seeing it with other people around me, that I thought, oh, I think I have something to share here. And then my world kind of also melded into, energy healing became such a big thing for me. And I thought, oh my gosh, why aren't we all doing this? Why aren't we sitting down and grounding before we go in to talk to a kid? Like,
So
that makes
important. Yeah.
sense, right? And so then just sharing those techniques. And so that's kind of how Audibly Ashley happened. We're working on lots of cool things. It's a newer venture. It's kind of putting the plane together as you fly sort of thing is where we're at. But
Yeah.
definitely speaking, presenting, workshops, on demand, retreats, those are all, in the works. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Very, very much the generator path of like, this is what's lighting me up next. This is where I feel the pull, that sacral yes of like, this is where this direction needs to go next. And so I love that journey for you where you really have just followed your gut and followed and responded to things that came into your, and this is probably something has evolved into something you had no idea that it would. And that's what's beautiful about this journey of we kind of almost let go and we trust and just say yes when we feel that pull within us, especially as a generator yourself. And it just takes us into these beautiful new directions. And I love and I see that in your journey so much. So what are kind of some of the things that you really want people to know about burnout and what you're seeing on the front lines?
Yes,
Or even
yeah.
just like walk us in through your own journey of like what that looked like for you and what, what that wake up call and that stepping out of it look like for you, and then kind of how that translated into helping others with the same thing would be a beautiful way to start.
Yeah, I think you don't have to be a helping professional per se. I think there's a lot of us with that servant's heart that we have a hard time saying no, and we feel bad if we take time for ourselves. And for me, I've been on call like 24/7 because we're open 24/7 for about a decade now. Like, but it was what had to be in the beginning. I mean, that's just when you're starting a new agency, those are the things that had to be. And it was learning kind of the hard way, almost losing my whole agency, almost losing my whole career, almost walking away from it. That really was a moment of, okay, am I walking away from this because it's that unhealthy for me, or am I unhealthy and I needed to set some boundaries so that I can continue this work? Because I think there's more that I have to give. I think my heart is still here, but I have not protected my soul or my body or my mind. Can I do that and shift my passion and reignite it? And so that was what I went through probably about 3 years ago was, am I walking away because this isn't where I'm supposed to be? Or am I walking away because I'm so burnt out and tired and I haven't taken care of myself? And so it was making that shift. And really it was, I started with talk therapy, traditional counseling, and a little backstory too on this.
I love a good backstory.
During all of that stuff too, like 5 years into this agency, I went through a divorce, and so there was a lot going on. It wasn't just my nonprofit. There was a lot in my personal life. My kids were young. It was just, I was a single mom for the first time. And I was married 17 years. And
Wow.
so there was a lot going on, needless to say. And so it was starting in talk therapy and just learning to set those boundaries, learning those coping skills, learning to look at myself and what accountability, what was I doing, childhood stuff. We all know that there's stuff that goes back to your childhood. And so it was starting there. And then, as a single mom and a business owner and all of that, I started dating and all that fun stuff, and patterns started to continue to reemerge in my life, as we do when we don't break cycles, right? And so it was just like, I need to level up. How do I level up? Like, everything's pretty good in my life. Like, I had gotten my nonprofit stable, my kids were doing awesome, I was good, but romantic relationships weren't so good. And so it was like, what do I need to do? And a friend said, you really need to go see my friend. She does energy healing. And I was like, oh, okay, that feels right. And really, it's changed my life. So it's just understanding how my mind works and deciding, it's trial and error, right? Like, Does journaling work for you? Does meditation work for you? Does taking a long walk work for you? And so those are the things I now try to pass down to my staff and to people that come into our center. I sneakily sneak those things in there. Like we'll do
Yeah.
grounding before staffing. Like we do it, you know,
Yeah.
or I say, let's go to the corner and let's take this journal prompt and go write for a little bit. Or, hey, let's all go get a drink at the soda shop down the road. You know, like I try to sneakily put those things into my staff, into the culture of our agency now, so that my staff doesn't have to feel the burnout. There is going to be some of that with what we do. It's heavy.
You have, yeah,
How
you're
can
dealing
we
with heavy
minimize
stuff.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, how can we minimize it?
Yeah, that's so important. Anytime you're dealing with like a topic of children getting hurt and you see the truly the ugly underbelly that most of us don't see firsthand. And that's got to be heavy and hard and all those things. So, what a beautiful thing to bring to such a dark space is to bring so much light, because that's the only way we can combat something like that is with light. We have to bring the light to these things. I mean, just look at the world around you. Like it can be a really dark, scary space, but when we bring light to things, when we bring love to things, how everything flips and changes because the awareness that we bring to those spaces. And I'm so grateful that there are people like you, and you are breeding this new type of work into that. Because I mean, these are the people who are the front lines, who are seeing it all and who are coming home disenchanted, thinking that the entire world's broken. And
I always say, which, and we tell our parents this too, it's that old oxygen mask analogy. You have to
absolutely.
put it on yourself first, because if you don't, you can't be effective and impactful and actually help the people in front of you. And so I think in social work world, helping profession world, you know, it's kind of a go, go, go job. There's not enough people, like you,
Yeah.
there's not enough money to hire enough people, I guess I should say. And so everybody's doing 5,000 things. And for a long time in my career, I think there was a lot of glory or a prize associated with who could like burn themselves out, you know, the
Right.
most, who was still up at midnight sending the emails. And if you weren't one of them, what are you doing? You're lazy. Like
Yeah. That whole
not
hustle
answering
culture.
your, yeah, if you're not answering your phone 24/7, like then are you actually doing your job? Are you actually helping people? And it's really it's really shifting that culture. And I think we've seen it in the like social work, helping profession world
So
where
important. Yeah.
we're like, we can't be effective. Like, and if we actually want to help people, we have to take care of ourselves as well. Like we are also people, you know,
Yes.
it's, I've been reading a book and they talk about human giver syndrome. It's called Burnout, the secret to unlocking the stress cycle.
Okay. I'll make sure that's in the show notes
Yeah,
for people. Yes.
but they talk about human giver syndrome, which is you're taught you're only a human giver, you're not a human being. And if you go to bed and get 9 hours of sleep, how lazy are you? If you take a vacation and don't answer your phone for work, well, what kind of, like, you're a failure, you know? And we're just taught to give all of ourselves all of the time. And if we take any time for ourselves or do anything for ourselves, then how selfish are we? And we really need to flip that script, because
Oh,
honestly, we're doing more damage when we burn ourselves out but continue to try to help people. Like we can't fully be present for them. We can't give from an empty cup. And so
you
it's
absolutely cannot. Yeah. The most selfless thing you can do is not to be selfless, it's to be a little bit selfish. When I'm coaching generators all the time, I say, like, the greatest thing that you can give the world is your energy, because you guys create so much energy, and when you're lit up, when you're doing something you're passionate about, because that raises the whole frequency of the entire planet. So I have these generators who have such big giving hearts, and they think that they're helping things out by like trying to give away all their joy, but what they're actually doing is they're burning themselves out, and they're not creating energy. And then the people that they're trying to help, they're not giving them that same joy that they want to give to them, because they're not in a place of actually giving it from a overflowing energy. They're giving it from a burnout energy, and it just doesn't have the same impact. The most important thing that any of us can do, especially in this very broken planet that we're in right now, is to really call back our energy and be in our own energy, be in a place of sovereignty where we're grounded, where we're taking care of ourselves, so that when these things happen, we have something to give. We have a connection to a divine source who is giving us strength and love that we can share with those around us. And I think I love this conversation so much. And it's a much needed flip. And I hope that every care professional is hearing this conversation because it needs to be heard so deeply. These people who give from these amazing big hearts that they have need to take care of their heart first.
Yeah, and I think it's just been the expectation in this field for a lot of years. And I think what Audibly Ashley and my platform, what I really want to do is give them permission to say, you can say no. Like I always talk about
Yes.
saying no versus saying yes. Like if you want your yeses to have high value, then you can't say it all the time. When you say yes, you want it to be such a for sure thing that everyone knows like you're in it. Like if I say yes to you, I'm in it. I'm 100% present. I'm giving you my best self. And I didn't learn that for years because I would say yes and I would show up mad and bitter and resentful. And this poor person didn't even know that I felt that way because I wasn't brave enough to say no. So if you can't say no, then your yeses lose their value.
100%.
Just making sure that when you can give so much more and better of yourself when you're like, oh yeah, this is a hell yes. Like this is
Right.
my heart is here. And so I think that giving anybody that permission, but especially those in the helping professions, like
Yeah.
that giving them that permission, I think is just the first step because when you say that to them, you can see they're like, oh, I can say no. I don't have to
It's
pick up my phone on the weekend. Like, that's an option? I didn't know that.
didn't know it was available to say no.
And that's just the first step. I mean, there's so many other
They're
techniques you
absolutely.
can do, but just giving someone that permission, you can just see them almost like visibly be like, oh, like relax a little bit.
Yeah, because they're leaking so much energy when they're saying yes when they actually mean no. That again, your yeses lose their impact. But when you're truly that in that aligned sovereign space, and you're saying yes to a opportunity or a way of giving back that is truly aligned with with what your soul wants to do, then it's going to be a completely different experience than when you say yes and you actually are like your body and your soul screaming no. You're doing it out of obligation. The energy exchange is going to be completely different. So the people you're trying to serve are not going to get what you think you're going to give to them because it's not coming from that right place. So having those soul aligned yeses where it is like 100% like, yes, this is something that I meant to do is so important for everyone, no matter what field you're in, but especially when you are in a service industry where yes is the norm and no is not.
And I think for our agency, I mean, we're kind of known as the kid people because we serve very rural areas. And so
Yeah.
you get a lot of phone calls about everything you could think about kids,
Yeah.
and it's not always our lane. Now, do we know who to connect them to? We do. But for a while there, I think we lived in such a place of scarcity and fear. And really, it's money motivated, unfortunately. In nonprofit, you might write grants or try to get money that isn't quite in your mission, but you try to make it fit so that you can keep your agency running. So it's always done with like good intent, like you're trying to keep your
Right.
agency going. But we were saying yes to things that we didn't have the capacity to do, that we couldn't do, that like it didn't even make sense. But we were coming out of a place of such fear of like losing funding or not having enough funding, or we want to be able to do this. And then it really took us to take a step back and say, we got to trust the universe that if we're doing our mission in our lane, we can always connect people to other resources, but six of us, we can't carry everything.
Yeah.
And there's other people that do a great job. So
Right.
we need to step back and trust that the funding's going to come how it comes. We've got to step back and really take a look at what our mission is and what our yes is, and what is
Yes.
Upper Valley Child Advocacy Center's yes. What we do? What's our mission? And so kind of scaling back and starting saying no to things and passing on things has actually made our success and the funding and all of, how that works. Like the
Right.
universe
Because you
works
have
like
to,
that. It flows so much more freely. It's going to happen. We're going to figure it
right.
out.
And if you try to serve everyone, you're going to serve no one.
Yep.
So when you're really clear on who you help and what your goal is in that helping process, I mean, that's when the right people are going to really connect to what you're doing. And I'm sure you get more donations and those things because you're really clear as to the service that you're offering and people can connect to what that is. That's so important. So I know a lot of people who listen to my show are in that spot where they want to flip. They've been doing the corporate path, they've been doing all kinds of things, but there's something that happens when you hit your late 30s, early 40s, where it's like you can't help but step into something that is soul driven. I see it time and time again. And I know a lot of people probably listening to this podcast are like, I have this on my heart to start a nonprofit. I've had this dream of helping and giving back in a way outside of myself. Walk us through that kind of that process of you stepping into the nonprofit and maybe give us some tips and, tools for someone who's out there listening to you and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so inspired by Ashley. I would love to do something similar, but maybe not necessarily what you're doing, but like whatever their passion is on giving back on that nonprofit level. I think that's a really great way to take this conversation.
Yeah. So, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is if you build it, they will come. That's just the
I love
truth.
that.
And you have to start building. You can't just sit there on an empty lot waiting. You kind of have to pick up the tools, the hammer, the nails, the board, and you just got to start going. And if you put the wrong boards together, you just take the nail out and you redo it. Like it's okay. Like you don't have to have a perfect plan in place. You just kind of have to jump and start building and kind of like I said, build that airplane while you're going. I also would say, gather a really good support system team around you. So if it's something that you feel other people are going to be involved, the universe is so funny. Even as I've launched this Audibly Ashley stuff, the last 10 years, I mean, even you, I mean, I think this is a great example. The last 10 years, I've met so many people that now, as I'm launching Audibly Ashley, I'm like, oh, like I mean, there's more than one reason these people were in my lives, but this, I need to go back to them, right? Like
Yeah,
people
this is
I've met
another
at
piece I need to
conferences,
add. Yeah.
yeah, like people I've met in different worlds, like the juvenile justice world or probation or like all these different helping professions. I'm like, oh, I could see it. Like that's my team. These people I've met over the last 10 years, these are the people I need their input as I'm moving forward, making these workshops and these modules. I didn't know that 5 years ago when I met this person, but now like it makes sense. Like it's all aligned, right? And so
So
I
much
think
is.
just thinking like letting that happen, and
Right.
it really is like you talked about. And listen, I'm a Virgo. I'm
Yes,
a
I had to venture that too. I was
I'm a
like,
recovering
I'm
perfectionist.
yes.
Letting go of control. I am the master of holding on to things, but letting go and just saying like I attract opportunities and the right people come in and out as they're supposed to. People will show up. And then I would say sometimes people show up because your energy is open and you are ready to do whatever's on your heart. Make sure your gut is telling you, your intuition is telling you that's the right person for the job because people get attracted to energy and probably very good intention, but not everyone is meant to be a part of your project or your mission. So
Oof.
just make sure the right people when they show up, they're the right people and they're the people you want along the journey with you.
Right.
And I would say too, I mean, I think when you think about businesses and nonprofit, even now with like launching Audibly Ashley, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to set up like another bank account and this and that, like and for me, my heart, like I don't love that side of it.
What?
I
As
like
a
the fun
Virgo, you
stuff.
don't like the organization side of it? That's weird.
Yeah, I love organizing the actual fun stuff. I don't like the businessy side of it. And so I think it's also just telling yourself, like, honestly, you can do it. Don't be overwhelmed by the paperwork. I mean, starting a 501(c)(3), that paperwork, it's not also for the faint of heart. Like, it's not. And so, but don't get overwhelmed when you start to look at it and say, oh, I can't do this. Like, just take one piece at a time, let it flow. You can do it. Like, you can YouTube anything, you can figure anything out. Like it is doable. So don't get overwhelmed like I do with all those little things.
Right.
You'll be able to get it done. Just take it one step at a time.
Yeah, I love that. Break it down, make it small. I mean, and now we've got like ChatGPT and all these AI tools that really they take so much of the work out of it. And again, It's amazing to me how much information you can get for free on the internet to do anything. And there's probably people already in your sphere who are, if as long as the desire is there, you like you said, the people will show up. The people who will help you with the paperwork, the people who will help, with writing the grants, everything just kind of falls into place when you start with a strong intentionality and you take that first step. I think that's the biggest thing that people miss in the manifestation process is they get the download. They get like, this is what I need to move next. And then they sit and
Yeah.
they wait for things to unfold instead of just taking that first initial, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do next. I'm going to show the universe that I'm going to take action. I'm going to trust. And they don't take that first step. They don't take the action that they're being called to do. And I think that's the strongest thing you can do to move your manifestations forward, whether that's building a nonprofit, whether that's building a business, whatever you're doing is you've got to trust that nudge, that first, like, okay, that's my first step. Don't plan it out beyond that. What's the first step? Okay, I did it. The first step. What's the next step? As humans, like control freaks, and some of us have energies on our chart that make us a little bit more so, maybe like the Virgo energy in us, or some other things. Scorpio is another, likes to be in control. And it's like letting go of that control and just trusting that I don't have to have it all mapped out. I don't have to have the A to Z path figured out. Like I just have to figure out step one to step two. And then I go step two to step three. And I think that's what people need to really rely on. And really, like, again, when you take that step, it's a huge first step. And it feels like it's, even just going to fill out the paperwork. It was probably terrifying. But you took that step, and then all of a sudden, universe was like, oh, she's serious. Okay.
Well, and I feel like confidence happens in action, right?
A
Like it
thousand
doesn't
percent.
happen in inaction. Like that's how you gain it. And so, I mean, even like I said, now, even the Audibly Ashley stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to do this all again. Like I did it 10 years ago, but I'm like, but I'm also like, oh, you did it 10 years ago. You can get it all set up now. It's just doing it again, even though, like I said, I don't find it fun. So I don't like to do it because it's not fun. Is that a Virgo? What is that in me?
That's a generator thing.
I'm like, I just want to do the
You
fun.
are also a Leo rising. So,
Yes, I'm like, because there's a part of me that's like, oh, that's not fun. I don't want to do it. But it's that confidence that for me, I've done it before, even though it's not the most fun thing. And as you do things, as you step into action, that's where the confidence happens. Like you're never going to be 100% ready. You just have to jump.
right. So first of all, they obviously have to do the paperwork to get the thing launched. And then from there, what would you say the next steps are moving forward? Like obviously people are going to start coming into your sphere. They're going to feel the energy of the movement that you're building, and bringing awareness to it is probably key, I'm imagining. What would be the next, things that people need to really actually have on thought of mind on this?
I would say nonprofit world is very much community partner centered. So
Okay.
it's like-minded partners. I mean, I can't do what I do without my partners, and not just my other nonprofits, but my community members that benefit from what I do, right? So
Yeah.
I would say those relationships are key. And especially, I mean, it's the same thing as in any world, to have someone that's been there before. So finding someone in
Ooh, I
the
like that.
nonprofit sector, they don't even have to be doing something similar to you, but if you can find someone that's doing something similar to what you wanted to do, that's awesome. And seeing if they'll mentor you, if they'll hold your hand, if they have, don't reinvent the wheel. I mean, our child advocacy center, the next closest accredited child advocacy center is about an hour, a little over an hour away from us. So they're who we leaned on. We went and shadowed them. We took their paperwork and made it as our own. Like, if there is someone out there already doing something similar, don't reinvent the wheel. That's going to take so much, make so much more time for you to do other things. So it's those partnerships, and like I said, nonprofit world it's a very close knit community. And so make sure
Yeah,
that those
so.
other nonprofits in your area know what you do, because there's always referrals between nonprofits. Like, oh, I don't do that, but I know a nonprofit that does, or I don't do that, but like for us, example, like food pantries. We have families that come to us that are having food scarcity problems, right? And so I don't have a food bank. I don't have the capacity to have a food bank at my center, but I have a relationship with the Giving Cupboard, who is right behind our building. And I can call them up anytime and say, hey, can you put a box of food together? I have a family here that is struggling, and they help. And so even though our missions aren't the same, they align and they still, are helping people. And so making those relationships and partnerships and collaborations are key.
I think that's so big. We're
Grants too. When you're looking for grants, other nonprofits, you can say like, hey, what grant did you write for this? Or do you know any grants that would make sense for my organization? I mean, it's just sharing all that information between each other is really huge.
Is there like one really beautiful, good source for finding grants? No.
No, I mean, you can pay like also the sad thing about this is you can pay for like grantwriter.com or, grants, all those things, but um then you're paying. So it's like this like double-edged sword of, do I want to pay a monthly fee? Is it worth it? And so
Right.
it's really honestly the way have found the grants and foundations that have donated to us the most is through other nonprofits that have said, hey, have you tried this foundation? Like that, I think that would really be good for your organization. So, but if you want to pay the money for the other stuff, actually, this is exciting, super side note. I've written all the grants for years. Like I've written every
That's
single
impressive.
for 10 years. And we finally had enough funds because of the legislation we got passed and the funding to be able to hire a grant writer this year. So that's a whole new thing too. So there are people that do that, but you do have to pay them. And I mean, it's taken me 10 years to be able to pay someone to do it, but it's been something I've been able to take off my plate that has helped me to be able to conserve my mental energy for the strategic priorities, for the bigger vision of the agency that I don't always have, because grant season is like all year long, right? So I would end one grant and start writing another, and not having to do that has been able to free up my time for bigger vision things for the agency, which has been awesome. So
Which is, I think, is such a beautiful point to be brought up is when you are building, you're going to have to, do things that aren't necessarily in your area of genius. There, I mean, all over the internet, anyone who tells you to build a business, oh, like delegate what you can't do so you can focus on your area of genius. I'm like, yes, that's great. I totally get that. But like a lot of us are bootstrapping it. We're getting things going. So allow yourself to have patience in the process. Understand that Rome wasn't built overnight and that you are going to have to learn to maybe do like the grant writing from the beginning. And then when you get to a place where you've gotten to that level where you can delegate, that's when things really are going to, I'm sure for you, really take off because now you're going to really be able to put some lighter on this and really allow your full creative energy to go towards building this thing in a very beautiful, wider, bigger spread than you have been able to be before because you were so weighed down by those day-to-day things. That's what's exciting. But have have patience for where you are and give yourself grace that maybe you are the all the things in your business right now, but it's not always going to be that way. And keep trusting and having faith and don't get discouraged and give up because you're getting worn out. Just do what you can as you
well,
can.
honestly, once again, as a Virgo, that's something I've loved about this job is that it's different every day. I wear a different hat every day. It's not like the same. It's never boring. Am I writing a grant today? Am I interviewing a kid today? Am I going to a meeting with a team member today? Like, so I have loved that personally for my like style of work. I don't
Yeah.
sit in an office 9 to 5. Like I can't do that.
No.
I'm out and about. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And so for me, so flip that script. If that feels overwhelming to you, maybe flip the script and say, oh my gosh, I get to do so many different things. Isn't that cool? I get to, because yeah, I never wrote a grant in my life until I had to. And then I just figured it out. And now it's a skill set that one, I could market if I wanted to, but it's not,
Yeah.
my heart isn't in
It's
grant
not your
writing.
yes.
But but it is a skill set that if I needed it, I have it now. And so I'll forever be grateful for the day that I had to just jump in and do it and figure it out, because it is a skill set I would have never had otherwise.
Yeah. It's I everything on our life path like matters. Every challenge that we've been given, everything that we has come up for a reason for you to learn something. And it's like I look back on like our very separate but very intertwined journeys. And it's like the things that we learned in blogging. very much tied to what we're doing today because we learned so much. Like if we hadn't had that start in blogging, first of all, we wouldn't have met. Second of all, like we wouldn't have had those foundations of running social media, which is helping you get more advocacy to this. And it's just like, it's so amazing to me, the beauty of a loving creator who guides but doesn't in the most beautiful way. And everything just kind of flows the way that it should.
I want to share this because I think it's so cool. So I'll share my Oregon Coast story because
Let's hear it.
it goes great with that of just letting the universe work its magic. So on my vision board, I've had the Oregon coast, well, Cannon Beach specifically, the picture of the rocks.
Oh, yeah.
Probably for 3 or 4 years, it's been on my vision board every year, every year,
Love
every
it.
year. And I never knew why. I'm like, it's not like I never had been there. It's not, I don't know why it had been on there. And then when I started the energy healing and meditating, it like I was on that beach every time, like almost
Ooh.
every time when I was meditating. And I
Yeah,
was
like
like,
I need to pull your astrocartography chart.
yeah, I was like, okay, I need to go there. And so for my 44th birthday, which was in August, so last month, I had to look at my calendar to see what month we were in.
I time is wonky right now. I'm gonna be not gonna
I
lie.
don't even know what
I
day
don't know what date it is.
or
Yeah,
year. I don't know.
it's weird right now.
So for my 44th birthday, I decided I'm going to do a solo road trip to the Oregon coast because my soul needs it. I need to reconnect. I need to just as a helping professional, and something that I've learned that I struggle with is it's not my own critical voice in there. It's not my voice. It's everyone else's voices, opinions, the problems that they have going on are in my head full time, that I have a really hard time listening to my voice is like way down on the totem pole. Like I'm like, hey, are you in there? Because I just hear everybody else's
Yeah.
voices, everybody else's thoughts, everybody else's opinions. This person has this problem. And so listening to my own voice is really difficult for me. And so I was like, I need to go by myself, unplug, and just listen to what's next for me in year 40.
Oh, I love
Like,
that.
I just want to go. And it was magical. Like, I stayed in this little bungalow, and this is crazy, but I show up and it's on like 14th Street, and my bungalow number is 440.
Oh my
Not
goodness.
even. I was like,
Oh,
what is happening right now? Because
love the universe.
that's when I booked it on
Yeah,
Airbnb.
like you don't show you the address when you book
Yeah,
it.
no, I was like, okay, this is meant to be. And then, funnily enough, when I launched Audibly Ashley, I was thinking more about, oh, I'll just speak more, present more, but I
Mm.
just want to like travel and slow down and speak. And like, that's what I want to do with Audibly Ashley. But when I was in the Oregon coast and I was meditating on the beach and walking and doing all the things, that's when all of this helping the helping professional came to me. And at first I
Oh.
was like, I didn't want to do a group project. I already did a group project. I want to do a solo project. And when I was driving to the Oregon coast, it was kind of like, Ashley, that's really cute. You think you're just coming here for you, but you're going to be bringing people back here. And I was like,
Ooh.
wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I really, when I came back I was there a week, and I really came back with almost a full business plan, the modules, the trainings, the retreats, all the things had come to me. And so I think it's just to that point of just trusting the universe. And me and the universe, I don't know if you talk to your universe or your spirit guides like this, but I've been home and I've been like, but I don't really want to do that. And it's like, but you
Yeah.
need to. And I'm like, but
Yeah.
I really don't. And then something will happen where they're like, see, you need to do this. And so we fight a little bit.
I feel like if you're not kind of challenging your spirit guide, your team every so often, I don't think you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Because
So I'm beginning now.
they're gonna push you up against your edges. They're gonna challenge you. You're not here for the status quo. You're here to like be bigger than you ever thought possible. They want so much more for you, and the universe has such a bigger, brighter version of what you're meant to bring to this earth than you could ever possibly think. So if you're not pushing up against some edges and some fear, then maybe you might get some more alone time.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was funny because I went to go get reprieve, and what I thought my next year or 2 or 3 was going to look like has drastically changed. But as I have followed that path after I got done fighting with spirit guides and universe, I understand that like I'm the I'm the connector of this, and it just is what it is now. And but I'm going to do it, but we've come to an agreement that I'm going to do it in a very intuitively intentional and manageable way, because crazy to go out there and talk about burnout and burn myself out, right? And
Yeah.
so just but on the other side, my little Virgo heart is like, hurry, 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 get it done, 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 mark it off your list, you know. So it's been interesting to fight against that, because what I really want to present to the world, I want it to be impactful and useful, and
Yeah.
not just something that they listen to and then walk away from. Like, I want to bring tools and strategic things that they can actually implement. And so I know
Yeah,
it's going to be a,
Virgo giving everybody a plan with steps to how they're meant to do it. Like, what? That's weird.
so I'm trying to take it slow and
Yeah. No, I
how it's
love that.
supposed to be, so that I can make sure that it's impactful and useful. Um,
And
even though,
so on, yeah, and so on purpose for you. Like, you know, I always like any guest that I have, like my whole plan is like, I'm gonna get your birth information, I'm gonna look at your chart, and I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I totally see that. Cause I do that. That's how I function in life, is I'm always like secretly reading somebody's birth chart before I even see it.
love that.
So like when I pulled Ashley chart, I'm like, well, that all makes sense.
You're like, that tracks.
Yeah, that tracks. That tracks. So she's got this beautiful, she's got a 3-5. So she is here to really show us that even in the messy, even in the chaos of life, you can create beauty. And through that roller coaster of life, we're being led. And that's so on purpose and so on point for you. So I love that journey for you. And as a spectator of your life, it's been fun to see how you have grown and evolved over the years. Like, I mean, both of us can attest, we were not the same person we met in 2013 at all.
No,
Not,
not at all.
not at all.
But I honor and love those girls.
They were so cute. They were so cute. They were trying so hard.
They
They
really
just,
were.
they really were. Bless our hearts. But we had to be them to be us. So I'm so grateful for us back in 2013 being brave enough. Like that was so brave of us to like decide that we wanted to build something and put ourselves out there on the internet in these little blogs. I mean, that was huge for me. Like I was scared to death to do it and hit publish and really like start putting myself out there in a very, for in my opinion, a very public way. So yeah, like I'm proud of myself for having that first nudge of knowing that I was meant to be serving on a bigger scale and being stepping out of my own life to serve others in a higher capacity.
Well, it really was. I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, and I hadn't thought about it like this, but it was really our training wheels for now, because social media is so much bigger and expansive, and you can reach such a bigger audience, even more than we could back then. And so I really feel like it was the training wheels for us to do. Not that what were doing wasn't good; it was good, but I
No,
think
like we were
we're like in,
serving in a way that we
yeah,
were
but I
comfortable with at the time.
yeah, but I feel like we're doing bigger purpose things
Right,
now.
right. Yeah,
And
for
those
sure.
training wheels have really been, you know, an important piece of being able to, like for me, like launching Audibly Ashley, like, I mean, I really didn't think twice about it. I just was like, yeah, I need to launch it. I'm going to start talking on the internet and see what happens. And I didn't have a lot of fear associated with it, but I think that's because back then I'd already done it. I'd already put myself out there in that way, but in a very, you know, and I think what's interesting too is we both put ourselves out in a way that couldn't hurt our heart maybe as much. Like now, I think we're
Ooh, yeah.
sharing our very deep hearts and passion that, you
Yeah.
know, is probably a lot more vulnerable than it was. But I think we've gotten to a place where we're strong enough to take whatever criticism or whatever comes our way, because we know our purpose in our heart.
Yeah.
Back then,
It was very
I
surface
wasn't
level.
showing my, yeah, I wasn't showing my full heart for sure. Yeah, it was, I mean, it was modest fashion. So, I mean, it
Yeah,
was,
I mean, I was curating healthy recipes and some workouts and then also doing DIY crafts. So
you were a master of all the things, weren't you?
it's just so not me at all. Like who knows me? I was like, you used to craft? Like, what? Oh, I did. I was a DIY master, people. I what I did with washi tape made some pretty big blogs.
It's true. That was so big back then. Oh my gosh.
Oh
Oh,
my
the
goodness.
years.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. This has been such a fantastic conversation. I think people are really going to get a lot of value at this. So before we wrap this up, what are some of your kind of last bits of wisdom for those who are kind of where you were at 10 years ago, where where they're kind of sitting on this precipice of like, I want to do something more. What would you tell that version of you 10 years ago before this journey started?
Yeah, I think there's only one you, and I think remember that, right? And
Yeah.
I don't think the best leaders aren't perfect and all put together.
Mhm.
Like when you show up authentically as yourself, the real, the good, the bad, the ugly, I mean, you can't go wrong. And so, and there's really not a problem you can't solve either. So even if you do it a little bit wrong, like you can solve it, you can fix it, you can change it. And I always tell my staff that, like, there's not a problem we can't solve. We might have to try three different ways to solve it, but we can. And so just remember, if it's on your heart, that's for a reason, and you're probably
Yeah.
the person that's called to do this. So just let go of that fear, and that's way easier said than done. And jump in, because like I said, you'll be so shocked if you build it. They will definitely come, especially if it's on your heart and it's mission driven.
1000%. I can't agree with that statement more. It's like if it's on your heart and it doesn't go away and it just keeps coming and beating at the door, it's there for a reason, and it's your job to really just allow it to happen and unfold, and kinda don't worry about the how if it's going to happen, just believe in that first step, and I think that's such a great way to end this conversation. This has been so fun. Thank you so much for joining us in this conversation. Till next time.